Alrighty.
All
What do we got
right.
next?
So we have Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, episode 8 and 9.
Ooh, Monarch. Cool. Oh,
Okay. So
I
let's
thought
give
those were great episodes too.
let's give our score for episode 8. You want to start with episode 8 and then I'll start on episode 9?
Okay. So I'm conflicted on these two because I don't know which one I like better.
Okay.
But I think I liked episode 8 better. Uh, I loved the flashbacks again, of course.
Yep.
I loved the relationship, they started showing in the flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
They finally started digging into a relationship. Um, we learned a lot more about Hollow Earth.
Yep.
And once we get into spoilers, I'll talk about like a scene I really liked. But I liked that stuff. I still thought Tim was awesome.
Yes, agreed.
um, yeah, I loved the action. I loved the acting. I loved the flashbacks. I loved it's all connecting. This is kind of just a continuation of the last couple episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably give this one a. Ooh, let's see. I gave the other ones a 9 and an 8. I think I'd give this one probably an 8 as well.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think I'd give this one an 8. I thought it was a great episode. Definitely liked the flashbacks. I pretty much agree with everything you said. Yeah, and when we get into spoilers, I want to talk about some things too. But Tim's great. This one I watched a
The
little
ending
bit.
was good.
Yeah, the endings of both these episodes were like
Were really good.
good
Yeah.
cliffhangers. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I gave this one an 8. Mm-hmm. It was definitely a really
Okay.
good episode.
What do you think about episode 9?
I think
You
I
had a
liked 9 a little bit better than this one, so I gave
Okay.
9 a 9. So 8
Oh,
and
so
8 and
we've
9
kind
and
of
9.
backwards with both these episodes. Opposite.
Yeah, I thought how do you talk about episode 9 without spoilers? Let's see.
I know it's hard.
It was very well paced, good. I thought this one finally I was like, okay, I'm invested in both the past and the present the same amount right now. Like the
Yeah,
whole
that's a good
show I've
point.
always
Yeah.
been like, okay, the past is more interesting. I want to know more about that. But now it's finally like, okay, I'm hooked in both. Yeah. So
That's a good point.
that was good.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll talk more about it in the spoilers because there's a lot of spoiler stuff to get into.
Yeah.
But
We're
yeah,
getting towards the end game. So.
Yeah, I loved the episode. I thought this was I think this and the Bikini Island Atoll were the two best episodes so far.
Okay. Okay. See, I still think the Bikini Island one was, and what was it, episode 6 or 7 with where Godzilla appeared in both. I think
Yeah,
those
that
two
was good
episodes
too. That was good too, for sure.
But that being said, so I think I liked episode 8 more, but you might be able to change my mind on this because they're so close to me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I would still give this one an episode 8.
Okay.
I don't think it reaches the peak of those two, but you could argue it does because you get so much lore and information in these ones to where it could easily be just as good for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would give it an 8. My mind could be changed.
Okay.
But everything you said, I agree with. I would give an 8. And like you said, we can't talk about these unless.
Yeah, not too much.
So.
All right. So this is your spoiler warning for Monarch: Legacy of Monsters, episodes 8 and 9.
All right.
Okay.
I'll start with episode 8, and then you can start with episode 9.
Sure.
So episode 8, I think the reason I like this more is maybe we're more interested in different things. Well, I'm not saying you're interested in it too, but I guess what I'm saying is I really love the character driven, like they finally started showing the relationship between Bill and what's her name, Kamiko or whatever.
Keiko, yeah.
Keiko, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool to see.
Her is this when her kid was introduced too?
Yes.
This
Yep.
episode, right? Yeah.
Yep.
He was introduced in this, and her reasoning to why she's doing Monarch makes total sense. And I guess this one was so character driven, and the next one was too, especially with Shaw.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I really liked the. Like I said, I'm a sucker for romance, and I finally got to see their relationship a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was
Um,
a surprise that, like, for some reason in the first episode, I thought it was her and Bill Randa's kid, but
yeah, same,
that was a
same.
surprise for sure.
Which I wonder if they purposely did that, right?
Yeah, that's possible for sure.
Because they would have. I don't know. You're right. That was interesting because I thought it was like blood. His dad, like blood
Yeah.
related.
Yep.
Um, and then I also liked the whole stuff with Shaw kind of going back to his captain or whatever, giving him the information. Hey, we didn't finish up Godzilla.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And again, the ending I thought was great. The whole last 5-10 minutes, because again, Shaw isn't a bad guy,
Right.
and we see even more so in the next episode.
Yep.
But just the way the show has been portraying him, it's like, oh, he's kind of, you shouldn't be rooting for him.
Right. I love how they're
But
doing
ending
that.
was, yeah, I do too. It's so good. Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
I love the acting. I will say there's a couple things in episode 9 that could make me like this more, and when I talk about it, I might
Okay.
change my mind. But as of right now, yeah, I just loved the character driven. Oh, and then also the way Hollow Earth was explained, how Bill was just laying there and saw the ant going into the
Yeah,
paper.
I thought
I
that
thought
was a
that was
really cool
cool.
moment.
I really liked that.
That was my favorite part of episode 8, I think. Was that
Yeah,
realization after seeing that. That was pretty cool.
and they foreshadowed at the beginning. How do we get ants down here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like four stories underground. But I thought that was a really cool way for him to realize, like, wait a second.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with Hollow Earth, how I love this because we didn't know this in the movies. It's all portals. It's how they travel,
Right.
and it makes total sense that they travel underground. But they don't really explain that in the movies, do they? Or at least
No,
before
not
Kong
really.
versus Godzilla.
Yeah,
But it makes total sense. And also,
it
which we don't
does.
find out till the next episode, with how we can't fall, we can't go in there
Yeah.
unless we ride behind a monster.
Yep. That makes sense
Which
too.
makes sense why how we've never really like found it or been in there, because
Right.
how could you come back?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I just love, which we kind of you did specifically predicted it back in that Alaska episode. But
Yep.
um but anyways, yeah, that was my episode 8. The acting, everything, the explanation of Hollow Earth, how they're traveling, the stuff, Tim working with the three main kids, they're not being annoying. Yeah, I
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah.
There is one nitpick. This is just, I liked it at first, but then I thought about it and it was kind of stupid. And again, I am totally nitpicking. Like, this is a nitpick.
Okay.
Is who was it? Bill or Shaw punches the wall, and then in the future, like, that hole's still there. Is no one gonna fix that in 60 years?
Yeah.
Like, you're telling me no one fixed that in
And
60
they're like,
years?
that's government for you. Like, that was their
Yeah,
like excuse.
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
at first, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. It's The Office. But then I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, I'm like 60 so years. And again, this is such a nitpick. It's like, has nothing that affects the story.
Right.
Um, but yeah, that's my thoughts. What about you on episode 8?
Yeah, I tend to agree with all of that. Like, I loved seeing him realizing the Hollow Earth theory, like the ant going through and that they're portals, and some of that stuff it's in episode 9, I think, right, where we find out that we have
Yeah,
to like follow a titan to
yeah,
like make the portals work. But yeah, the fact
yeah.
that they're
We just
portals
don't know
to
what
a
they're
different,
used for in this episode.
right.
We just don't know how you can, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Um and yeah, so I love that part. And seeing the like their headquarters still being the same one that Bill used, and that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
The surprise of Hiroshi and Hiko being a widow was really interesting. I did not see that coming. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
And her
dude,
reasoning, right? Like why
yeah,
she's working for Monarch.
yep. Um, I guess we could talk about it more in episode 9, but I feel so bad for Bill. Like, I feel like he got the worst end of
Mhm.
everything. Like,
Yeah,
but we'll talk about that more when we get to episode 9.
I'm already, I'm thinking about it, but man, I actually, I'll wait till to reserve my
Okay.
judgment. So I'm thinking about episode 9. And I'm like, God, there's so much good story elements in that too, not just lore.
Yeah,
But
I feel like the reason I gave um 8 and 8 and 9 and 9 is 8 was great, but it set up so much for 9 that 9 paid
yeah,
off really well. Like
that's
I
true.
feel
It
like
did
the
pay off.
payoff was amazing, and there is a lot of lore and background stuff that's really cool in 8. But then I feel like they actually did something with it in 9, which is also really cool to see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, any negatives for episode 8?
Um, the only thing I really wrote down is like the reasoning for sending the kids, the trio, after Shaw was a little bit like, why not? Like the story needs us to. Let's just go ahead and send them. Like to
Yeah,
me, I was like, yeah, okay.
family, man. It's like Fast and
Fast
Furious
and Furious,
family.
yeah. So that was a little weird, but that's kind of nitpicky. So yeah, that was
Okay.
about the main thing, I think. Let me see. I think that's episode 9. Yeah. Yeah, that
So
was
both of
really,
us, episode 8 gets an 8. So
yeah.
it's still great, way above average.
Yeah,
It's
loved the
excellent.
episode for
Love it.
sure. Yep.
Not too much we dislike at all. Uh, there's just some episodes we liked more.
Right. Hmm.
All right, episode 9. I'll let you start with this
So
one.
what score did you give episode 9?
I
Just
gave it
curious.
a tentative 8.
As a debate. Okay. And I think that's fair for this episode, for sure. Kind of like I said before, they paid off a lot of stuff that's been set up. Let's see. I loved seeing them go. So episode 8 ended on a cliffhanger where Kate, May, and Shaw fell into Hollow Earth. So seeing that, like, seeing Hollow Earth was awesome. I loved seeing that.
Mhm.
And I loved that at the beginning we saw Shaw doing, was it Operation Hourglass? I think they called it.
Yes. Yep.
And seeing that, and then also, so we basically got to see the past timeline go into Hollow Earth and the current timeline go
Present.
into Hollow Earth at the same time, and I thought that was a good way to get us invested in both.
Mhm.
And so and like the CG in Hollow Earth was awesome. Like the lightning parts looked
You
cool.
look cool.
The boar thing looked really cool.
Mhm.
I liked the effects of in the past when they went in, and it went all like slow motion. It went kind of like Thor Ragnarok-y. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where it like
Mhm.
kind of did the
Yeah, where it's
slow mo
explaining what
zoom
happened
around,
to,
and yeah,
yeah.
I really thought those elements looked really good. Um, I also think Kentaro finally got a decent scene with his dad,
Yes.
which I've been waiting for that scene. Unfortunately, at this point, it's kind of like he's given up,
Yeah.
but which is understandable. I feel so bad for Kentaro because he's got like
I know.
survivor's guilt now. He thinks they're dead. He's meeting his dad again, and he's like pissed off at him, and yeah,
He's actually a character again because they
side,
backlined him,
yeah, backburnered him,
sidelined him.
yeah,
Yeah, for like the last 3 episodes because of Kate and May's
yep.
relationship.
Which I have a feeling they're gonna do something with that next episode, but you know, that's beside the point.
Yeah. Man, I actually thought that scene with his dad was a Excellent. That might be one of the best scenes in the series for me, to be honest. I thought
Yeah,
that was well acted.
very humanizing to Kintaro. Yep.
Mhm.
So one thing, the one downside about this episode, the one thing that I am still kind of confused at, they could answer it later, but um I can kind of see, I mean, I see why Hiroshi is pissed off at Shaw, kind of. He's just kind of pissed off at the entire situation that he keeps losing people and he's not sure why,
Yeah.
but I still don't fully understand the reasoning of him locking him up in that old folks home. Like, why punish Shaw
Yeah.
after he's come back? Like, I don't know. That just feels kind of weird to me.
And I agree. And you're right. Like, I get that he's moved on and accepted it. But I mean, wouldn't you show a little bit of excitement? Like, oh my God, my uncle is alive.
Yeah.
Is he like mad at him for, I don't know. I guess I didn't understand that either.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a lot of people to be mad at, but you have someone back now. Like, wouldn't you try
And it's not
and.
like he did anything like when he came back, it's not like he said anything rude or anything to Hiroshi.
Right. So
Like,
I don't fully understand Hiroshi as a character yet, and we barely know him,
we
I
may,
guess. But
I mean, maybe he's just hardened, right? Because they mentioned that Bill kind of went cuckoo
yeah,
and his mom died, and then Shaw was gone for a while. So maybe he's just like a hardened dick now.
yeah. And I mean, it kind of seems that way because he then has two families and is doing all this weird shit with. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's so. Um, yeah, I feel so bad for Bill Randa, especially like watching King Kong
Mhm.
recently and see how he goes out. It's like he died without knowing that like Shaw comes back and is fine.
Mhm.
Spoiler alert that Kiko's back. And
Mhm.
like yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like he's the most tragic character in this for sure.
Oh, I
He
agree
just
for
kind of goes
sure. Oh
crazy.
God,
All his people go away and then he dies on Skull Island. Like yeah.
I know. That sounds depressing.
Yeah.
You're right, because Shaw. I mean, Shaw. It sucked for him, right? He got trapped. We still don't know how long he was. It didn't seem like he was gone for that long in Hollow Earth.
Yeah, but it
But
ended
you
up
know,
being
he
20
came back, and
years. Yeah.
which I'm very curious of, because how long was that, and then how long are they going to be down there in the next episode?
Right. I'm
You know,
very so my theory for that is they're going to be down there until at least after King of Monsters.
I was thinking that. I was thinking that too, because
If not like
I
Godzilla
think
versus Kong maybe.
because this is setting up. I feel like this is setting up for Godzilla King of Monsters because all the portals are right. They're burning hot. Like,
Yeah.
so you're right. Maybe while King of Monsters is happening, they're down there,
Yeah.
and then they come out afterwards, or maybe even after Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
But I
So
doubt these
that's
characters are going to be in the new Godzilla movie. It would be cool if they were, but
yeah, even just for a second that would be cool.
um,
Let's
but still,
see.
though, 'cause that makes you wonder about what's his face? Oh God, I can't think of his name. Uh, does the brother? What's his name again?
Uh Kintaro?
Kentaro. That makes you wonder, like, is he going to go down there, or is he staying up there? And then, like,
Right.
he kind of, how
And
long are they going to be down there for? You know?
yeah, if he stays up, he's gonna think they're dead for like years, probably, which
Mm,
definitely sucks for him. He's gonna have a lot of guilt that he's gonna process through that, and then they're gonna come back, and it's gonna be like, oh, also your grandmother's back too. Like what?
I don't know. And she still looks like young,
Yeah,
but they didn't explain exactly how long. Like when you're down there, how long,
right.
and on the top of Earth, not Hollow Earth, it is right. They didn't explain that
They did
like
not.
specific
Yeah, they did not explain a specific time, and it could be different,
time.
maybe through different portals or in different places. Like I feel like they're leaving it open ended so that they have some wiggle room.
In in Godzilla versus Kong, didn't people go down into Hollow Earth?
Yes, and there was not really time dilation. So that's kind of why
That's it.
I think it might be like different places in Hollow Earth do have different time dilations, or like, yeah.
Or there's retconning it.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be
Because
too.
uh, because when Shaw was explaining when he was down there, it didn't seem like he was down there for that long.
Right. It was like they did the mission, they like started the mission, got there, had like 10 minutes there where they're like doing like experiments, and then
Yeah, and then like they start getting attacked and stuff.
yeah.
And like Shaw and them, they even this in this episode, they were like he was screaming and walking around for 20
Right.
minutes in itself.
Right.
So I'm
So
just
it could be that they were down there longer for that other mission, or
we just
and they just kind of fast forwarded it, or the time dilation's different in different places.
I would
Yeah,
say
there's a lot
each
of things.
portal maybe is. I wonder if each portal is different too. I don't know. That's a
Yeah.
good. I wonder if they'll go into that.
I'm sure they'll. Well, they could just not explain it and be like, "Yeah, it works. Just don't think about it too hard."
Maybe maybe it's better just not to explain it. Just go with the flow. It's a freaking monster show.
Yeah.
Anything else? I know we kind of got sidetracked.
Let's see. It seemed like they showed a couple new, like, the Muto versus Godzilla scene on the TV seemed like a new shot, which was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. That was cool seeing a little hint of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And then so Kiko ends up alive, which I called. I don't know if you remember, but I
remember.
That was the theory that I threw out there, and so that's pretty cool. Because it just felt so weird that they killed this important character in the first. Was it the first episode? I think it was the first episode, right?
It was the end of the first episode. Yep.
Yeah, and so
because that's what we've been playing. Like we don't know these characters.
Right. Yeah. So that was cool. That was a moment I was like, oh yeah, I was right, which is fun.
I figured the second I knew that there was a portal there, I'm like, oh, duh, she survived.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, we didn't know that in the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
You called it before everything.
Yeah. So that was cool. I'm interested to see. I feel like I'm thinking about it from her perspective. She hasn't been down there that long, and then she at the end of this episode, she runs into Kate, who ends up being her granddaughter, and so that's gonna be like a weird moment. Yeah,
because I was thinking on the side of Kate,
right?
But now I'm like, wait, I didn't think about it being on Kiko's side. Wow, you're right.
Yeah,
that's gonna be interesting.
It's like, hello,
I will say you're right.
I
will say you're right. This episode sets up like that. Hopefully, like awesome scenes in the next. Like this, I hope this finale doesn't fumble.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I'll tell you now, if this finale sticks, God, this show was excellent.
Yeah.
Like this could be like a 9 out of 10 show for me if this finale sticks.
Yep. So the cliffhanger was seeing Keiko. I wonder what's going to happen in episode 10. Are we going to see Godzilla? Is he going to be in Hollow Earth? Or is something going to come out of Hollow Earth and they're going to follow it out?
Maybe, like you said, maybe this sets up, or maybe they get out as Godzilla King of the Monsters is happening, and the monsters are all kind of going out.
Yeah, so they follow like Rodin, or they follow one of the monsters. That's possible, yeah.
That'd be kind of cool, and then it would kind of like connect into Godzilla King of Monsters.
Yep.
That'd be kind of cool.
And then next season will be like between King of Monsters and Godzilla versus Kong. Yeah, and then the season after that.
They did set up, with Mecha Godzilla, so.
Yep.
Man, that could be interesting. Any negatives?
I think I talked about it. The heroes, like him being pissed off, like I still don't understand why.
That's right.
But other than that, I don't really think so.
Yeah.
The I think for next episode, I'm gonna call it that. I'm probably not gonna like whatever they do with May and Kate, but that's for future episodes. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I think that's really the only negative
for me. Even these last two episodes, always May and Kate asking about each other. No one ever asks about
Kentaro, yeah.
about yeah,
That
no one does.
was
I mean,
yeah. I
I
mean, that's
get you
why
saw
May
Kate fall.
fell. Yeah, that's why May fell and not Kentaro, because they're setting up that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I get it, right? Because Kate saw May fall, or vice versa. Who fell first? Or May fell first, right?
May fell first, yeah.
Yeah, and so like I get like they're concerned about that, but like, hello, what about your brother? You're not curious? Oh my God, what happened to him too? Not once
Right.
did they say what's happened to him.
Right. Yep.
Which I get why Shaw didn't, because Shaw's like, we got to get the heck out of here.
Right. He knows time is
Uh,
ticking.
yeah, but that's still a big. If there's anything in the show that's the biggest negative, is it's definitely the relationships of the big three.
Yeah. And weird love triangle for
Uh,
no reason.
yeah, yeah, and actually, Kate used to be my least favorite character, but ever since that what was the San Francisco episode or the snow episode? Oh, no, the snow episode. May has been my least favorite character,
Yeah, I feel like they're not really doing anything with May. Like,
which is weird because I liked her in the beginning of the show.
yeah, she was fine, and then yeah, I agree with you.
Her whole character was based off of worrying about Kate.
Yeah, which is so weird. I did not see that being where they went with it.
No, and I know she did have a little arc of her wanting to go back home.
Yeah.
But besides that, it's been Kate, 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 Kate. Oh, what does Kate think? What does May think? Oh my God, what about Kentaro?
Yep.
What about my boy? And when Kentaro gets scenes, like he's a good actor, and like I'm interested in like he out of all three of the main characters, he's the most interesting, but he gets the least amount of focus.
Yeah, he definitely does.
But okay, so I agree with everything you said. I will say they like the way they did Shaw this episode was so interesting. Seeing,
Yeah, Shaw was really
like
good.
you said, yeah, like seeing that whole first 10 minutes or whatever of what was it, Operation Hourglass was so interesting.
Yeah, that
like
was a really cool scene. I didn't even talk about that much. There was a lot in this episode.
there was a lot, and then even the after effect of like they kind of sticking metal down there.
Yep.
And even the little subtle relationship of Shaw and Bill at the very end, kind of cracking jokes.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they kind of knew like this will probably be our last time we see each other.
This could be the end. Yeah.
But I thought that scene was awesome, and the thing falling, and then I don't remember if it was when he was explaining it later on, like he was looking out the window and you could see like the monster flying or something like that.
Mm.
I don't know if you noticed that little subtle thing.
I'm trying to remember which
when Shaw's falling in that tube down to Hollow Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's like a second.
Yeah, was that Rodin?
You could,
like it looked like
I don't know,
a Rodin kind of character.
You can see like a weird, lightning and stuff, and like a creature flying, and
yeah, that was cool.
And I thought that looked really cool.
Yeah.
And then also, something I found interesting with Shaw, and I wonder if this is how they meant it, is like so after, he gets put in the elderly home. So, it's almost like it's almost like he was taking the pills for all these years and stuff. It's almost like he started to believe maybe I am crazy.
Yeah.
But then like the second he saw like Godzilla and the Muto fighting, he's like, wait a second. So was that like where he was like was that more of him giving up or more of him like maybe I am a little crazy?
Yeah, that could be. To me, I thought he had just kind of like given up, but he definitely, especially getting like meds to like mess with your mind. I could see him thinking he is crazy, and yeah.
But then he saw that as like, wait a second,
and he knew like, oh man, this is what we were worried about.
Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really cool seeing, because we obviously knew he wasn't at home, but we didn't like how he got there and all that. It kind of connected the pieces,
right?
And then even him waking up and it being the future, he saw like the rocket ship going into space on the TV.
Yep.
There's a couple other little things he saw that he's like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
But it did feel weird because, and I get why Monarch would be sketchy with him and want to observe him, but you're right. His nephew, like, it was so odd. I like at the first scene when his nephew was there, I'm like, oh God, he's okay. Someone's there to
Right.
to be with him. You know, like when he was like threatening the lady and he
Yeah.
came.
Which was that
I'm like, oh,
lady?
okay.
Was that lady Kentaro's mother?
I
That's
think yes, because they
okay.
set that up later, right? Like
Yeah, because they have that scene
kind of.
together, and in that scene, I was like, that seems like it's Kentaro's mother, but it wasn't
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
said.
No, it wasn't said, but I kind of got that too because
Okay.
later they were talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scene, I was like, oh, you know, finally someone that could like help him understand, and then yeah, from there, I don't want to say it went downhill, but it's just not what I expected.
Yeah.
Um, and then the Hollow Earth stuff, I agree with you. The lightning looked cool. Uh, the whole time stuff is interesting to me too.
Yeah.
And then the dad scene with
Kentaro.
with
Yeah.
Kentaro again was that was a great scene.
Yep.
And like I felt bad for both in a sense.
Yeah.
Like it was just that was a great scene. And
Hmm.
then the cliffhanger ending. So yeah, I guess this episode does have a lot of character driven stuff too, which I guess what you could put on top of this episode, like you were kind of saying, this one does dig into characters and relationships still with Kentaro and his dad, and definitely Shaw.
Hmm.
Uh, and it pays off to what the last episode was set up. So you're right in that sense.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing Hollow Earth, we're seeing these things happen, we're seeing
Right.
the flashbacks of how Shaw went to Hollow Earth. We're actually getting the answers to questions, which like I was worried we never would.
Right. Yeah.
So man, it was a good episode. I'll say besides really to be honest, really the only bad episode for me that I agree with you with is the snow one.
Yeah. Snow one was
You could
probably my
argue
least
maybe
favorite.
the next one too, but the next one was not as bad as the snow one, in my opinion.
Hmm.
It was the San Francisco one.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the San Francisco one was better than the snow one.
But that snow one, besides Kintaro's flashbacks, that was but I'll group the San Francisco one in there. Besides those two episodes, this show has been great, man. Like
Yeah. I've
after those
loved
two
it.
episodes, it rebounded so good.
Yeah. I agree.
Like
Definitely
the
agree.
last four episodes have probably been the best episodes,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah. It's been a
Uh,
great run of episodes for sure.
it's surprisingly too, because I was kind of like what you said, like after the snow one in San Francisco, I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
doesn't it feel like a different show compared to
It
the first
does.
four?
Yeah. Yeah. It does.
Like I was thinking
It,
about that, like it feels like a different show.
yeah. They definitely hit their stride. Like it was. It like lulled there for a little bit and then they went right back into it.
Like these last four episodes is what I wanted the whole show to be. And I know there's people complaining, oh, there's not even any monsters or anything. People are stupid.
Yeah.
People go into these shows expecting, well, like, don't be stupid.
Yeah. I don't get that.
Like, I
It's
see reviews or comments of people like, oh, there's not any monsters. It's just people talking. I'm like, oh, what did you expect?
yeah.
And you can't ding it on that. You ding it on what it is. And it's not a monster driven show. Yes, it's there,
It's the
obviously, but
legacy of monsters, not it's
oh,
not it's
oh,
not monster fights. Monarch monster fights is a
well,
different show.
that's funny. Yeah, exactly. It's the legacy of monsters. So when I see people complain and rate it low because of that, it's invalid to me.
Yeah.
If it's not your type of show, it's not your type of show. That's fine, but
Yeah,
don't
that
rate it
is
just
fine.
because you expected monster action.
Right. Go watch Godzilla versus Kong if you want that. That's what those are for.
Yeah, there's three or four other movies you could freaking watch that you can in the same universe that has the action for you.
Yep.
So I'm loved for what it is. Actually, just a show in general. It's a well acted show.
Yeah.
It's a well written show for the most part.
Yeah.
The CGI is good. It's actually 10 episodes, which I love.
I like that. Yep, for sure.
So it's been a fun ride. I'm
Yeah.
loving it. Man,
I'm
the
very
last couple
glad.
months, man, with the Godzilla stuff.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm
But yeah,
very glad we decided to watch this show. Has not
yeah. Oh yeah.
disappointed.
we got this, and we had freaking Godzilla -1, and then we're
Yeah.
having
Oh, that was
Godzilla and
great.
Kong in a few months.
Yep.
So we're getting some good Godzilla action.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like you said. The only negative I really had was the same old May and Kate stuff.
Yeah, so next week is the finale.
That's right.
That's
The
crazy.
finale. Please go out with a bang.
Yeah. Yeah,
Please don't. I'm so worried it's gonna go out flat, man.
that would suck. So hopefully it doesn't.
Like the build up to these last 4 episodes. Like I'm telling you, if it went out with a bang, oh, awesome
Yeah, we
show.
need another season, so please don't
Hmm.
disappoint.
My dad's enjoying the show too. He's been
Oh,
watching it,
nice. Very
and
cool.
he agrees with us. He thought the 2 episodes, the snow one and the San Francisco one, were awful. That was his worst. He's a little
Yeah.
more harsh.
Yeah.
But then he's like, man, this show's picked up real good after
Yep.
those 2 episodes. Well,
Nice.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
Yeah, because
are we
sometimes
gonna?
he has different takes than us. He's
Yeah, because he's very black and white. It's either amazing or it sucks.
yeah.
And yeah, so those 2 middle episodes sucked. He said, and then the other
Yeah,
episodes he
that
loves.
makes
There's
sense.
no middle ground for him.
Yep.
But there's actually for me, it's the opposite. There's way more middle ground than for me than it
Yeah.
sucks or it's good.
Yeah.
Very rarely. I think only once or twice. Actually, I think just once, right? Is the only thing we gave it 10 out of 10 Godzilla -1.
I think that might be true.
Maybe an
Maybe an
episode here.
episode of Ahsoka, maybe, but yeah, I
Like
think
we don't just give out
10 out of
10 out of
10s.
10s.
Yeah,
Sure, I think most of our reviews have been 6s and 7s and
positives.
5s.
Yeah,
Except
but
for
I
this
mean,
show for some reason.
the thing is, we're choosing things that to watch that we
What?
are
Yeah.
pretty sure that we want to watch. Yeah, so it makes sense that
Yeah,
there could be
yeah.
a lot of positives.
Hey, I still think well, I think we're more critical than a lot of people. Like I'm not gonna say negative, but people get excited like with Loki. I know I gotta forget what everyone's it's 9s out of 10s, and for me it's like 5s and 6s.
Yeah, yeah.
But I try not. But I try to be level-headed. Like just
Hmm.
because I'm like a fanatic, like Star Wars, I still want to be like, okay, like this is good, but it could be better.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't have to say that, but 9 out of 10 times
Right.
we do have to say that.
Yeah.
So yeah, this has been a fun show to review.
Yeah, I agree.
It's probably been my as far as like what shows we've reviewed. This might especially if next episode lands, this might be one of my more favorite shows we've talked about.
Yeah, this and Ahsoka are the two that I've enjoyed talking about the
Oh
most.
yeah, I mean Star Wars is Star Wars, of
Right,
course. Yeah,
right.
I guess I should say this is it's definitely the most unexpected favorite show
Yes, yeah,
we
that's
talk
very
about
true. Yeah, I
because I
was not
knew we
even
would love
planning to
talking about.
watch it, and then yeah, you brought it up, and I'm very glad you did.
Yeah, well, so am I. Because yeah, with Ahsoka, we are like
Yeah, we knew
we're
we were
gonna love
watching
talking
that
about
one.
that whether we hate or love it.
Yeah,
Like it's just gonna be fun to talk about. Period.
right.
But anyways, that's all I got. I'm excited. I
Yep.
predict that. Are they gonna get out of Hollow Earth the last episode? Do you think or no?
I think that might be the ending cliffhanger is them escaping with the King of the Monsters breakout
Ooh,
or
that
something.
would be that'd be an interesting ending where they escape and it's either the aftermath of Kingdom. Oh, I guess it would have to be at the same time if they go out with a monster.
Yeah,
That would be kind of cool though.
that would be cool.
Seeing like the chaoticness of like what's been happening up there.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I hope we get a season 2 because could you seeing this? I know I'm going off on a tangent, but seeing at the very beginning of the season, seeing like Tokyo's, like big missiles and all this stuff for protection and the warnings and the sirens go in the
Yeah.
subway. Like, what would it be after
King
that
of
King of the Monsters?
Yeah, that would be interesting because
Like,
we haven't really seen too much of that. We've seen a
No,
little bit
and
in
that, like,
Godzilla versus Kong, maybe, but we didn't really see that part of it.
no, and that would they just did that with Godzilla and the Muto. So imagine with like all these other monsters, like full
Right.
destruction.
Yeah.
I really hope we get a second season, but I don't know if
I hope
this is
so
a
too.
one-off or not.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. We'll probably hear shortly after the finale if they've renewed it or something.
Yeah, yeah. But anyways, that's all I got.
Yeah, I think that's all I got too. I'm excited for the finale to see what happens.
This Friday, right? Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sweet. And we'll get to talk about it. It'll be fresh in our minds. We'll do another
Yeah.
one on Sunday.
True.
I'll be sweet.
Yep.